Last week we started with part 1 in the hallway, and as you know, I've gone very traditional. I've got lots of plaids, lots of greenery, lots of velvet. I'm going to be using very traditional colours, reds and greens. There's a lot of natural elements and candles, and I've also got a couple of DIYs for you, really elegant little Christmas decorations that are so easy, and a couple of little crafts that can be done just for the Christmas season, and you can take them back to normal once the season's over. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, the first idea I wanted to share with you, was to make some lampshades to suit my decor. Now, these little lampshades, you might recognise them from one of my summer makeovers in the bedroom. I made over the little side table lamps, and I recovered a couple of lampshades in this lovely little toile, and it all matched the bedding. I'm not using those lampshades at the moment, but I had an idea. Now, this is a temporary makeover. You can actually go back to what's underneath if you want to. So depending on how you do this, you can reuse these lampshades as they were originally. So what you can see here is I've got this material, and it's a lovely plaid tartan. I've had this material for a long time, but you could use a tablecloth, you could use a scarf, you can use a throw. And with this, the one that I've got here, you can see I'm following the line in the fabric, and because of the way this fabric is woven, once I've got my material cut, I can pull the extra threads out, and it gives me a nice fringed edge. The next step, I've cut all my pieces, and now I'm going to cut them the length or the height of the lampshade, with enough to turn a little bit underneath the lampshade and a little bit over the lampshade. And then I've measured the first one, and then I'm trying to match up the pattern as closely as possible, and then I'm cutting them all to length. So you can see here I'm just pulling the extra threads away, and this is giving me that nice fringed edge. This is so that when I'm adding them to the actual lampshade, it doesn't matter if the edges overlap or not. It gives the look, it's a nice look on the lampshade without having to glue down or sew things into place. So here we are now. I'm taking the first piece of the material that I've cut, and I'm not putting much glue on here. I'm just putting enough glue just to attach it over the rim, and then I'm just going to press it into place. And all it's doing, it's very lightly attaching itself and following the line so that the pattern stays straight. And I'm giving it a little bit of a stretch, pressing it into place, and doing exactly the same on the other side again, following the line, putting a little dab of glue just to hold it into place. And then, as I said, once the holiday season's over, or you want to go back to the lampshade that's underneath, there's not so much glue that it's going to tear it apart or do any damage. It's just going to pull right off, and you're going to be left with the original lampshade underneath. So I'm going to do this all the way round, and you know what it's like when you're making a lampshade, the shape changes. So you're going to attach it from the bottom first and then join it at the top. So you're going to have some gaps somewhere, so you can either overlap them all the way round, or you can go back in afterwards and just fill in the gaps with extra little pieces of the material. It's entirely up to you. So here it is, the finished lampshade. This is the first one I did. You can see the front of it, perfect. You would never know there was any joins. And then the back, which is going to be in the corner or against the wall, that's where the joins are. This is the the third lampshade I'm going to be doing. This is the other lampshade it's in the corner beside the fireplace. I've taken the other one down because I put the Christmas tree up, and all I'm doing here is I've got the same piece of fabric, and it is the perfect width, so it fits just between these little gold studded pieces, which is the look that I'm going for. And then I'm just stretching it all the way around. Now it's joins at the top but not at the bottom, so all I'm going to do is pin it together, and then I'm going to go over it with some wool thread and just stitch it so that it holds almost like an elastic, because there's enough stretch in this fabric that it will hold. It's not going to look fabulous from the back because I'm just stitching it, but it will be able to be undone at the end of the season and the lampshade will be back to normal. So this is the finished article, and I've sewn it at the back, and I'm just straightening all the lines in the fabric so it looks perfect when it's actually on the shade, pulling all the little extra threads off, and there we go, the Frankenstein sewing at the back. But you can see what I've done. I've just stretched it into place. It holds in place perfectly. Absolutely no damage is done to the lampshade, and once this is in the corner, nobody is ever going to know that the stitching is in the back. So this next Christmas cloche couldn't be easier. I've been making these for quite a few years. I used to use the domes from the old clocks that I used to find thrifting, and they used to be $1. And then the Christmas ornaments are things that I've picked up either brand new or I've had for years, and then I've embellished them with little bits of jewellery, bells, ribbons, and also the snow is either the artificial snow or glitter or Epsom salt. So I'll show you how easy this is. So you can take anything that's going to fit your dome. This was a little old soap dish that I had. I've used for years. I'm just turning it upside down so that it will fit my glass dome. This is one that I've had for years, but you can pick them up anywhere now. And this is a Christmas ornament that I picked up in the UK for a couple of dollars this last season. What I've done, I've taken the little clip off the top, and I'm just going to take the hanging bit out of it, put the little clip back on, and then you can either leave it like this, but I'm going to add some extra glitter to it. First of all, I'm going to fix all the glitter that is come off the little ornament just while travelling. It was in a bag, and a little bit of the glitter came off. So I'm going to take Mod Podge, and I'm just going to use Mod Podge. You can use white glue, you could even use hot glue if you want to. This is just I prefer to use this, and this is the Epsom salts that I'm going to be using. And this is the glitter that I'm going to be using, one of them. And then I've got the red glitter for the ornament, and I've also got some red glitter to put around the rim of the cloche. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just putting the glue on the little spots that have lost the glitter, and you can see it doesn't matter because you're using the same colour glitter. And then I'm taking the same glue and putting it all around the rim, and I'm going to cover this in glitter as well. You'll see at the end it just adds that little bit of Christmassy glitz to it. So I had two types of glitter. I had a fine glitter and a coarse glitter, but you can use one for both projects. It doesn't really matter. I just wanted, because I had both, I used both. As you can see, I've made sure it's stuck all the way around the rim. I'm then going to add a little bit, make that rim a little bit bigger, just because I'm adding the snow for the Epsom salts, and I just want to make sure that when the cloche globe goes on top, it covers everything it's supposed to do. So I've put a little bit of the Epsom salt snow in place. I'm also going to use a little bit of glue just to hold everything in its right place. And then I'm going to add a glob of glue all the way around, well, in 4 spots. This is just so that when the globe goes on top, it's going to hold in place. So I've put lots of Epsom salts into the globe. I'm just adding more here, and I'm just going to adjust it so that once the globe's on top, I'm going to shake it out and it's going to cover up all the little glue spots that I've put there. So I decided to add a little bit of greenery, a velvet ribbon and some bells to the top of my cloche, but you can add a little handle or just the bells or just the greenery, whatever you feel like to finish this little Christmas decoration off. And once that's glued in place, you're finished. Well, I don't know what it's like in your house come Christmas time, but our house is like a disaster area the whole kind of week that I'm doing my Christmas decorations. This year especially, because we started moving things around. I changed the curtains, we moved the room around, we've had to move some furniture in, we've had to move things out to get the tree in. So I know a lot of you go through this, but this year specifically for us, it's been a little bit more tedious. I also had to get my son in because my leg had been playing up, that the injury from France in the summertime. So my son's actually been in to get up the ladder and do the high jobs for me for hanging things up. So he was a big help for a couple of days, but this is where we've put the Christmas tree. So we usually get a real tree, but we've decided this year we'll stick with the artificial one that we've got. This year we began decorating in the front window, the front bow window, and what I wanted to do was hang a wreath from the centre with the garland suspended from the middle and hanging both sides of the window. The bow was a nightmare to try and get to stick on that window. It really was. But we went to the arches between the living room and the dining room, and I had these lovely artificial boughs with just the pine cones on, and I didn't want to put anything else around them, but they weren't heavy, but they're wired, so they were awkward. So you can see what we did. We had to nail into the wall, wire the garland, and then wire that to the nail, and then we did that following the arch all the way around on both sides. So this was the garland into the dining room, and I had 2 shorter garlands that matched the one in the living room, and the one in the living room just went at the highest part of the arch. This one went the whole length of the arch because there was 2, and once these were up, then we threaded these with the twinkly lights. When it came to the mantelpiece, I wound together 3 pieces of garland. All of these garland were bought from Michael's previous years, all at least 70% off. So I had 2 lengths of the same plain green garland and 1 length of the eucalyptus garland. I added the 2 green garlands together so it went the full length and then hung down one side of the mantle, and then I wound into the top piece that was on the actual mantelpiece the eucalyptus, and then I just threaded in these lovely little feathers. I have this string of copper holly leaves that I thrifted last year. I've never seen anything like them, but they look so pretty and they contrast lovely with the green and the navy of the fireplace. And then I just threaded through the twinkle lights all the way the full length of the mantle. I also added this handmade bow I should say, on top of the TV. This was just made with bits of greenery that I wired together in the middle, added in the antlers, and then just put a big bow on it and hooked it to a nail on top of the TV. I did a similar thing to make two hanging pieces of greenery for the candle sconces. Again, a bunch of greenery, wired it, added a ribbon to it, and then just hang it. Make a loop with the wire and then just hang it on the candle sconce, and I did this all over the room. So I have 3 cabinets in the dining room. This is the one on the back wall by the window. Cleaned it off, took everything off that was on there initially, added in this bow. I have 2 of these. These were picked up from Michael's, again, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Their stuff varies from year to year anyway. I never pay full price for it. This was also probably after Christmas when it was 75% off. The little tree that I've just added in was thrifted for 50 cents. I just had to glue it to its little wooden base. The 2 candlesticks were thrifted. The candles were thrifted. This beautiful Santa Claus was bought by my lovely sister several years ago on a visit, and he always takes pride of place. He comes up. I'd have him up year round. I love him that much. He's so beautiful. Thanks, Net. I love you. And then this little, he's quite substantial. The silver reindeer again. I think I may have picked him up years and years and years ago when I worked at Winners. So you're probably talking 20 years. That's how long I've had this guy. It would have been TJ Maxx or Winners Home Sense at the time. And I always try and put these 3 together because it's the perfect little scene. This is the other dresser. This is the tall dresser that has my red spode in it. I use the same garland as I've used on the other side. I added in my little Christmas tree. Again, this is one that was thrifted. The bells I picked up this year, and the little Victorian candlesticks were something I thrifted a few years ago. I have my lovely cherub in the corner with a little wreath in his hand, and then the little stack of books is thrifted with the old top hat. I've put a piece of ribbon around it with a little piece of holly. Onto the mirror. I'd added this little extra piece onto the mirror a few weeks ago, this little bit of an embellishment, because I wanted to give it, make it look a little more grand. So in behind there I've tucked in again some picks of greenery. Again, all of it's been thrifted. Actually no, the larger pieces of greenery were in the local florist had closed down in the summertime. I did pick those up for 70% off. But again, you can see these you can find most of this stuff at Michael's. I added in a little wreath that I've had for probably 15 years on a little bit of ribbon, and then just swapped out the candles each side from my turquoise ones to my beautiful red candles for the winter and the holiday season. This is another favourite vignette that I did in the window. So this is where I've got the garland in the wreath in the window, the bow window. On top of the dresser there, I wanted to add in the little bust of the young lady. I always put some pretty holly in her hair, and I surrounded her by the candles and the greenery, and it just set off that alcove so prettily, and it is just so happy with how this particular vignette turned out. So the final area for me to decorate was on top of the curio cabinet, and this is my interpretation of taxidermy. As you know, I've done it on the hallway, the wall in the hallway into the library. So this is my deer, and this is the garland that I've put around his neck, and he is the center point for this particular area on top of the curio cabinet. Now, to continue with that theme, I have the picture, the countryside oil painting, the little books, everything again is thrifted. These two, the riding hat and the little picture is a postcard that I have of the hunting scene. The little nutcracker is also a vintage piece, and then these two the little Christmas tree is from IKEA. And then the garland is just threaded with the twinkle lights. I hope you like what I've done. I think it looks absolutely lovely. It's so cozy. It's so traditionally Christmas. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's certainly, I'm feeling it this year. It's so full of warmth and tradition, and it reminds me of a Victorian Christmas cottage with all of the tartans and the traditional colours. So there's lots more to come. The next video I will be decorating the Christmas trees. I have a master bedroom update and redo. I've still got the kitchen and the library, and of course there's the upstairs to do. So I hope you come back over the next couple of weeks to see what I've been doing, and then finally we'll have a full house tour for Christmas. So have a safe and happy week, and we'll see you soon.